Hey everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching as always. Remember, I have my website ellismowers.com. That's where you can find my email and all my links to my Instagram and Facebook pages right there on that website. Appreciate all the support as always. We're going to get started on these, hopefully making two into one here. I've got one that has a broken deck and I've got one that has no engine. They're both 22-inch push mowers, and we'll see what we can get started here with them. I'll give you a quick look around and then we'll go ahead and hopefully get the bugs out of here, and we'll get started on making one good push mower from two. Let's do it. Alright, let me give you the walk around. First one is just a plain old 22-inch Sears Craftsman deck. It's got the nice big bicycle wheels on it. A customer's looking for a decent cheap push mower, and I just took it out of my deck stash back there. I think he wanted side discharge. This is why I've got this one out. This is really it's the best size discharge that I have. Here's your model number of the mower. It's made in 97, February of 97. So these are super easy to roll. Makes life easy for a lot of people. The engine, we hope, as long as I can get it off, it's going to be donated off of this. It doesn't have any sort of gas tank or anything in it right now, but I've got one of them, so I ain't worried about that. It's the 3.75 horsepower Sprint Briggs engine. Pretty much the Classic, except they just called them like the Sprint and the Quattro and stuff back in those days. 22-inch Murray. Here's your broken deck bracket right here, and it's pretty bad. This is, you kind of see these on these thinner Murray decks sometimes. I don't know if I've got a bent shaft or if I've got a bent blade or if I've got anything bent, really. Nothing looks incredibly bent. It may have just broke. We're going to see if we can get this off. I'm going to lube up the bolts here for the mounting bolts. As long as we can get them off, we'll be in business. First thing I want to do, though, is see if I can get it running. Let me source a spark plug and put it in there and just spray some carb spray in it, see what we can do. It's a shame because the cable and everything still works on this thing, and it's not really easily transferable to the Craftsman, so we'll just have to wire switch for the Craftsman, which, again, is no big deal. It's just one of the things that I've got to do here. Alright, so before we proceed on this, I got the parts out right there. Got some carb spray and put a plug in it. So let's see if this thing will crank up for us. One more time. It's got a very small amount of vibration to it, but nothing that's unbearable. Not unbearable is not the right word, but nothing that's insurmountable from what I can tell. So we'll go ahead and affix this throttle like it's, well, somebody kind of already did. So just bend it down like that. That way it kind of fixes the throttle a little bit. Actually, let's do this. Nah, we'll just tighten the spring like we need to. We'll be good. So it runs. So let's turn it on its side, hopefully. I'll spray a little bit of lubricant on it, get the tools I need, and we'll go ahead and take the engine off. yeah, I'm gonna show you the process of taking that off. Such a nice day out here. Do it right here in the driveway, why not? Alright y'all, I brought it in here for a little bit better look of me taking the cables and stuff off. Somebody's already disconnected the throttle cable. The throttle cable is already broken on this thing as it is, so like I said, not really a loss there. Got to get a couple of 1/4 inch. Quarter? Yeah. Take this little plastic cover off on the back, or on the top and the side. Remember, on the new application, we're not going to use a cable. So let me get some pliers. Those are not pliers. And maybe the needle nose doesn't work. Get this cable pulled out here. Alright, cable's pulled out. Now we just need to pull the pull rope out as well over here, which is a 7/16, or should be. Could have made this a lot faster, couldn't I? We're just going to pull the rope out. One more. There we go. Making it unnecessarily difficult. You don't even have to see it, I don't think. So now we'll get the engine off. Turn it over here. Spray a little, oh, we got to get the blade and stuff off too. Little lube on the bolts. Let me grab my 9/16 and all the sockets I need, and I will be right back. Alright y'all, well this was supposed to be easy. I have good news and bad news. Good news, all three of these bolts are good to come off. Bad news is this one is frozen, so and stripped whenever I tried to take it off. So I got to take a grinder to it, grind the head off of it, and then we can get the blade off. And then we'll go ahead and just kind of wring the old one out, hopefully throw a bunch of lubricant and stuff in there and take some vice grips and go to town on it. They can't be that easy, can they? This ain't too bad. I've done this before. Hopefully we'll have good results. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but you might be able to see the residuals of the smoke, probably right in that area. I did cut the bolt head off. It's sitting down there and just kind of chilling for right now. I was able to save the little locking washer. The blade I think we're going to put on that Craftsman deck too, as long as we can fit it on there. But after I did that, she's coming right off, so that's super nice. Woo! So I'll get the length. I've got plenty of these here, and we'll just measure it to length. It's one of the short ones, still smoking. How about that? Don't touch it, right? Got really hot because those are some hardened bolts there. And now we can go ahead and take off all three of these remaining mounting bolts. And put your finger there so that y'all can kind of see it without the sun hitting you real bad. Alright, 1, 2, and 3. Let's see if I can do this smoothly here. Oh yeah, there we go. Alright, so get those mounting bolts out of the way. And I'll get a shirt. And toss these bolts away here. I'm gonna feel the heat through the shirt. So we'll get this deck out of here. I will clear off my table right here, and we'll get the new deck onto that Craftsman mower next. I think, let's see, are these metal wheels in the back? I'll keep the metal wheels. I'll probably just junk the that metal wheel. I'll probably junk the plastic wheels because they're pretty brittle. And probably save this because it's nice. Might save the handle or at least the cable. And the rest of the mower is going to be going in the trash. So that's what we're doing here. All right, guys, time to mount up here. I'm used to picking up. I'm used to picking up riding mower engines. I picked this thing up. I just about threw it across the room because it's so light. Get us some of this junk out of the way. We're just going to mount that right here. Boom. Just like so. Well, can we? Oh, we might have to do another deck because I'll show you the issue here. This deck must have had a Tecumseh engine on it mounted backwards because the mounting point goes right there on it. So that's kind of unfortunate. Let me get out. So I won't use this deck for this engine. No big deal. Ain't like I did anything to it. Let me find another deck and we'll reset with that deck. But that's kind of unfortunate. I'll show you what I think may have happened here with this. So I don't know if I have any examples out here, but some of them have engines mounted backwards on them, especially the ones that were made in the 90s. Probably like this, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe one of them Tecumseh's back there. Or like that Briggs, like this Briggs right here on this little bitty junky looking mower. That Briggs right there and that one right there. You see where they're mounted backwards with the dipstick in the front. And then, you know, the back of the engine facing back here. I'm pretty sure that's how this one was mounted. So let's choose another candidate. Probably just gonna take this one right here because it's so close. I wanted the guy to have a side discharge, but I don't have any other side discharges available. If he really needs a discharge, he can just take this one out. So we'll take this one in. No big deal. Still a nice deck nonetheless after we get it nice and cleaned and washed. I'll brush the pine straw and stuff off of it. I'm not really interested in putting that deck backwards or putting that engine backwards on that deck. It's not worth it. Plus, this deck's a little bit more. I can probably ask a little bit, or a little bit newer. I can probably ask a little bit more money for it. I'm just gonna have to find a 21-inch blade, which I should have one or two under there for it. All right, deck number 2. Here we go. All right, y'all. Deck number 2. I think this is gonna work out a little bit better. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. What I usually do is look under here, get the holes lined up, and then just thread the bolts in. Finger tight them first. Then we get a few threads in. The last thing you want to do is strip out one of these mountain bolt posts. So alright, so I got the bolts. Forgot I was recording there. I got the bolts in. And number 3. Alright, so that's that for this. Now, I'll take the, let me go find a bolt and see if we can get, I need to find that bolt out of the trash. See if I can get one the same length, and then I'm going to put that new blade, which I found a good one, that will go right onto that adapter. I think it's a Murray blade. It's right at 21 inches long, so it should work out beautifully on this 21-inch deck. And we'll go from there. Alright guys, before I put the gas tank on, I'm going to go ahead and change out the diaphragm and the primer bulb on it. We're just going to work, y'all have seen me do this 1,000 times, but this is a gas tank and an air filter that I sourced from my pile. They seem to be in decent shape. I had one that had just a tiny pinhole in the tank. This one right here seems to be a little bit better condition. I hope that the seam in the back isn't compromised or anything like that and causing it to leak gas, because I saw a little bit of this metal starting to pop up, but it's probably okay. So that's 4, number 5. We'll give this thing a nice wash after we finish with it. I'm just a cheapskate and I don't waste my money on water and cleaner if I don't have to, because I'm cheap. Cheap like that. Alright, this diaphragm is hard as a rock. We're going to see if we can get that in the gasket off without having to do any scraping. So let's take it easy here. Excellent. Okay, that came off nice and clean. Clean this off a little bit. Alright, that's a little bit better. If you look in there, you see we got some dirt in there as well. So we'll kind of work that out. I'll spray a little bit of carb spray through it just to get it fully clean. Use up the last residuals of that bottle of carb spray. Now, pretty important here, you don't want to put a new diaphragm on it with the carb spray still on the mating surface, because it will cause the gasket to shrink. I don't even know what the inside of this tank looks like. Hopefully it's okay. Yeah, it's alright. It's got a little rust in it, but nothing crazy. We've got other options if we need them for gas tanks. I think this might be the last Briggs Classic engine that I have in my little mower lot. Most of the ones I got were Quantums. So gasket goes on like so, or that's the diaphragm, excuse me, and then the gasket goes on, just like that. I'll leave that there for just a second while I take the primer bulb and do my magic with it. Briggs does make a tool for this. I find that a flathead screwdriver works just fine 90% of the time. Just got to get them tabs on each side undone, and then you're good to go. So we've done that. This one is extra stiff. There we go. Hey, that works too. The new one comes with tabs. So they look pretty clean on the inside. Hopefully that little check ball is working. If not, we'll have to pull it back off and see if we can get it to work. We'll slide that in and clip it. Oh. Slide this side in. Okay. I think we clip that side in. See if we can get this upside in. I think we're alright. Like I said, hopefully, I mean, even the screen and spring right there are good. So, like I said, hopefully we'll luck out here. Gas tank. Let me get that back on. And now we'll put this tank on. Now we're going to carefully put the screws back in, make sure they go through the holes and that you do not punch the diaphragm nor the gasket, because then you will have problems. Alright. Sorry I'm not talking much in this video. I've just been getting encapsulated and fixing this thing. So now, just pop the little linkage in the hole there. We already got the breather tube. And the gaskets associated with that, which is good. We'll just slide everything on there like so. I kept the spacer for the gas tank whenever I took this off, or might have found it in that part stash I got with a bunch of different things a while back. I had a screw. There it is. It's a screw about this length. Sometimes they're 3/8, sometimes they are 1/2 inch. This particular one I found was just a 3/8, so. And we're going to screw it in there. Screw this one in as well. We'll be very careful with it. Let me find my sockets. Be very careful here. That's a 7/16, so we'll screw the front. That must be a 10 mil. Huh. Oh boy. Maybe that isn't the right screw. We'll find out. Yeah, I'm afraid that's not the right one. So let me find the right screw. I'll put that in there and then we'll put gas in it. Crank it up. Alright, that looks a little bit better, thread wise and everything. That other one fooled me, but it came off with a different deal. So let's wiggle this on. Much better. Perfect. Don't go too tight. You can impact it, but don't impact the mess of it out of it, because if you go too tight, you're going to get screwed. Before I set this down, let me check, put some gas in it. Oh. And let me check the primer bulb and all that good stuff. Make sure it's functioning properly. And it is. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to see that pumping in there. So that's beautiful. Sometimes that check valve gets stuck and it'll either pull it up and not allow it to suck through the carb, or it'll just pump and not get any gas. I've encountered that a lot this year that I had not really encountered in the past. So let me check the oil. It is bone dry. I do not even have you up there. I'm going to put 20 ounces of oil in it, get it on the ground. I'll go ahead and put the air filter on it. I really think that we're good with this mower here. So, oil, and we'll crank it up. Alright guys, I've put the gas in it. Oil, it was pretty much empty. I put 16 ounces and it filled it right up. to the full mark. I have a temporary throttle set up. We'll work on the wiring next, that I usually do when I get one of these things. And yeah, let's do it. That's pretty good. So let me go ahead and we will venture and go ahead and put a wire on this. I'll get all the wiring necessary and hopefully I can make this quick for y'all. I know I'm doing this pretty in-depth with an engine swap and all that good stuff. I hope y'all are enjoying it. Again, we're just basically turning trash to treasure. This is probably going to fetch $60 at the most, but still. We turned a broken deck with a good engine and a deck with no engine into something, which is a good thing. Let me grab the tools I need and the wiring, and we will get it back in here and work on it. I might lift it back up on this table. Alright, y'all, let me show you the switch. It's not complete because I'm going to put some electrical tape on the joints and stuff. But I do take off this right here. This, I need to put that back onto the loop there so that it'll work. It won't go. So I take off the ground wire. It's just a little tab that you push up and then pull the ground wire off. Hook that to a wire that connects all the way up to a little switch here. It's got three prongs, but the third one is just a light. We don't need a light. Plus, we're using it kind of for the opposite because we're turning ground on and off and not power. And then ran a wire down to what I hope will ground out on the frame to this little pull rope handle here. So obviously we need to do a little bit of electrical tape work and stuff. But let's see if that switch works like it should. If so, we'll wash this thing and call it good. kind of what I figured there. The plastic of the frame is getting in the way of the ground. So all I have to do that I did not do right there is run a wire all the way down to the ground circuit, like to a bolt on the engine down here, and then we should be good. When it comes to getting this fixed, I probably could run it and put a screw in right there and be good too. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'll do that, reroute it, make sure it's good. I'll show you all that it's good, clean it up, and then we'll be done with this. Alright guys, the day is ending and this mower's done, which is really nice. I will show you where I ended up going with the wire. I try and make it as neat as I can when I do this. Wrapped up the connections in electrical tape, tucked it around here, around the handle, and then let it come over here. I ended up putting the ground wire actually on the old on-off switch. I guess you can call it that, where the bale cable is housed. And just put a longer wire in a fitting to connect to that, and the ground is working beautifully now. I'll show you that in the run. Seems like it's good. I think there's a little bit of junk in the muffler because it keeps puffing out a little bit of black and a little bit of sparks here and there. But again, the mower hasn't been running in a while, and so there's little things like that that's going to happen. But it runs great. I've ran it probably a good 10-15 minutes since I've put the engine on there and put the diaphragm and stuff on there. It seems to be fine, which is good. Vibrating either, which is good. It's running really good, and the blade I found is pretty good. It's got a good lift. It'll, you know, throw some air out, that's for sure. And it was I think it was a Murray blade, but I had the old Murray adapter. I was going to try and get that old adapter off just to put a MTD adapter on. With this blade works just fine. So this worked out well. So how this came about, I think I told it a little bit at the beginning of the video, but there was a guy that called me earlier in the week and he said, "Hey, you think you can get a push mower going for me?" And then he called, I was like, yeah. I was trying to get him a push mower and a riding mower. The riding mower ended up needing a deck spindle, so I got to wait on it. But he called me, today I'm filming this on a Thursday, he called me on Wednesday, yesterday, and said, "Hey, you think you can have a push mower ready for me by Friday?" And I was like, I think we can make that happen. So I got home today, Thursday, and went through the whole process of, you know, what would be the easiest thing to get going and what would be relatively cheap for him to purchase since he's on a budget. And so this is the product of it. Really and truthfully, the mower is probably about, I'll probably tell him $65 for it because it's a big wheel, a newer deck, old classic engine. This thing's gonna run forever on them, so that's good. If I were to retail the mower, it would be $75. I'd take as low as $60 for it just because of the condition that it's in, but it runs good. So pretty much making something out of nothing. The mowers I have in the backyard owe me absolutely nothing because I don't have any money in them because they all paid for themselves from trade deals and whatever else. Other mowers that have sold in the lot. So I always like doing fun little things like this, just making two into one and just making one good one out of what is essentially trash for most people. So worked out well. I appreciate y'all watching. We cleaned up the backyard a little bit by getting 2 mowers out of it. And again, got my website, ellismowers.com. That's where you can find my email, Instagram, and Facebook. and also my YouTube link right here. Y'all found me here. So I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you on the next one.